Mr. B went into the hospital for a simple surgery, repair a hernia. But over the next couple of days, I think it was sepsis or one of those things that poisons the system, got a hold of his body. The family made calls everywhere they could for prayer. Mr. B and his wife were very involved in the prayer group, faithful to their parish and church. I knew most of their children in college. People were praying. And Mr. B died. All that praying, all those faithful people. And for Luke and Catherine, two of his children, something else died that day. Their belief in God, their belief in prayer. Maybe something else died that day. A false image of God. That somehow we can manipulate God, that we can control God. As much as everybody wanted him to live, it's just simply not in our power. With enough prayers and the right prayers and enough faith that we can choose how things are going to work out. One of the local pastors in the neighborhood saw me on the street some weeks ago and told me that his daughter-in-law was pregnant and was really sick with COVID. And they were afraid for her, the unborn baby. He just asked me to pray. A week or so later, he called me and said the daughter-in-law was now in the hospital, the water had broke, and they were doing everything they could to try to keep that baby in the womb long enough to reach a certain stage of viability. I prayed, and I'm sure his congregation prayed, many people prayed. And I texted him a week or so later and said, how's your daughter-in-law doing? And he texts back and says, I'm sorry. I should have told you. She gave birth, the baby lived about 45 minutes. Long enough for me to baptize that little grandchild. But again, a whole church praying. And the grandfather reaching out to other people in prayer. And in the end, what we were hoping, what we were praying for, didn't result. Is that reason to stop praying? Is that reason to give up on intercessory prayer? Not for me. In fact, at this stage of my life, my list of people that I pray for just keeps growing. And I do it because I want somehow to, first of all, for myself to connect with God in prayer, and want that energy of God, that energy of prayer, to somehow reach those for whom you pray, for whom I pray. Can I predict the outcome of those prayers? Of course not. And yet, despite what seems to be the failure sometimes of our prayers, does not dissuade me from holding these sicknesses, these struggles, these world tragedies. In no way do I want to stop praying and interceding. ultimately, I guess we're going back to the words of the Our Father. Most of us are more familiar with the words from Matthew than we are the version from Luke today. But before you ask for bread, before you ask for forgiveness, before you ask for mercy, in that prayer, we pray, Thy kingdom come, Thy will be done. That's where our prayer begins. And I think every time we pray for one another, every time we hold people in our hearts and in our prayers, it has to be somewhat with that intention. Thy will be done. And somehow I believe there is still goodness, even when the result is not what we were purposely praying for. Many, many years ago, when I was first ordained, and that is many, many years ago, but every first Friday I took communion to a number of people in the neighborhood. And there was one elderly lady who always assured me, Father Al, I pray for you every day. It's like, wow, I depended on that. I love the fact that there's some elderly lady homebound in the neighborhood who every day is praying for me. I have a profound belief that there was something there for me as a result of her praying. We must never give up on prayer. We're not going to have the relationship with God that we heard Abraham had in that first reading. I mean, wow. What a daring prayer. On behalf of the innocent, that's something we can hold on to. We should be advocating on behalf of the innocent. Abraham did not want to see innocent people wiped out because of all the guilty ones. And so he's pleading with God, and God keeps going along with him. That's an image of God, though, that I'm not so sure is my image of God. I can't make God do anything. And yet I pray. And we look for that connection to God and that graceful connection to one another as we hold one another in prayer. So the image of God, that we can somehow make God change the mind of God. If that work, well, how would that work? I mean, you've got somebody over here praying for one thing, somebody over here praying for another. One person wants rain, one person doesn't want rain this weekend because of their plans. Well, which one does God listen to? How? It doesn't work that way. And yet, I never give up on prayer. Even when the results haven't proven to be what other people wanted, what I wanted, still, it's good to hold one another, one another's needs, petitions, to hold those, and to always be seeking that my will aligns with the will of God. That I'll be able to see, maybe not at the moment, but that I'll be able to see the loving hand of God in all that happens. Prayer is such a mystery because God is such a mystery. Why would talking to God not be a mystery when God is a mystery? And yet we yearn for that kind of communication and that kind of relationship. So we hold fast to our faith in God and never cease asking, seeking, knocking. Because he told